Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my beloved brothers and sisters. Welcome to this gentle daily reminder.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad. My beloved brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when a person is awakened from sleep in the depth of the night, between 3 am and 50 am, without any alarm, without any sound, and without any clear cause. The eyes open gently, yet the heart feels unusually alert, as if it has been stirred from within. The surroundings are quiet, the world feels distant, and there is a stillness that is rarely experienced during the busy hours of the day. Many people dismiss such awakenings as random, turning to their devices or forcing themselves back into sleep, unaware that these moments carry a depth of meaning and an opportunity that is both rare and precious. This portion of the night holds a unique spiritual weight. It is a time when distractions disappear, when the noise of daily life fades, and when the soul becomes more receptive. It is during these hours that the connection between the servant and the Creator becomes more intimate and more sincere. In authentic teachings, it is mentioned that Allah, in a manner that befits His majesty, descends to the lowest heaven and calls upon His servants, offering them the chance to ask, to seek, and to be forgiven. This divine call is not limited to a select few. It is extended to every soul that is willing to respond. The one who created everything, who controls every outcome, who possesses absolute power over every aspect of existence, calls out with mercy and generosity. He offers forgiveness to those who seek it, relief to those who are burdened, and answers to those who call upon Him. Despite this, many people remain unaware of the value of these moments, allowing them to pass without response, choosing temporary comfort over eternal benefit. This is not due to a lack of mercy from Allah, but rather a lack of awareness within the human heart. Being awakened at such a time can be understood as a sign of care and concern from Allah. It is an indication that a person has been given an opening, a chance to step away from the distractions of life and to stand in a moment of sincerity. It is an invitation to experience a form of worship that carries a sweetness known only to those who have tasted it. Standing in prayer while the world sleeps creates a sense of closeness that cannot be replicated at any other time. It is a private meeting between the servant and the Creator, free from showing off, free from noise, and filled with honesty. The night prayer, known as Tahajjud, is among the most honored voluntary acts of worship. It is described as a source of dignity for the believer, a means through which the heart is strengthened and the soul is purified. It brings a light that reflects not only in one's inner state, but often in one's outward presence as well. Those who consistently engage in this act begin to notice a shift within themselves. Their reliance on Allah deepens, their patience grows, and their perspective on life becomes more balanced and grounded. Life is filled with challenges that weigh heavily on the heart. There are worries that remain unspoken, fears that linger quietly, and struggles that feel overwhelming. People carry the pain of broken relationships, financial stress, uncertainty about the future, and moments of deep loneliness. During the day, these burdens can feel suffocating, as responsibilities and distractions prevent a person from fully processing them. Yet at night, when everything becomes still, a door is opened. In that silence, a person is given the opportunity to turn completely toward Allah, to express every fear, every hope, and every regret without hesitation. In those moments, supplication takes on a different form. It is no longer rushed or distracted. It becomes sincere, focused, and deeply personal. A person speaks not out of habit, but out of genuine need. Tears may fall not out of weakness, but out of recognition of one's dependence on Allah. It is in this vulnerability that strength is found, because the servant acknowledges their limitations while turning to the one who has no limitations. The power of supplication during this time is immense. It is not measured by the length of words or the complexity of language, but by the sincerity of the heart. A few moments of true presence can outweigh long periods of distracted worship. Even standing for a short prayer, reciting a few verses, or making a simple supplication can bring about changes that a person may not immediately see, but will eventually experience in their life. The outcomes may come in different forms: relief from hardship, clarity in decisions, inner peace, or protection from unseen harm. This opportunity is not reserved for those who are perfect or those who consider themselves highly religious. It is open to everyone. It is open to the one who has made mistakes and seeks forgiveness, to the one who feels distant and wishes to return, to the one who is striving to improve, and to the one who simply needs a moment of peace. No level of knowledge or status is required to stand before Allah. What is required is sincerity, humility, and a willingness to respond to the call. When a person consistently responds to this invitation, it begins to transform their life in subtle yet powerful ways. Their connection with Allah becomes stronger, their reliance on people decreases, and their ability to handle difficulties improves. They begin to find contentment not in external circumstances, but in their relationship with their Creator. The heart, which once felt restless and unsettled, begins to find stability and peace. Ignoring such moments, on the other hand, can lead to a sense of loss that is not always immediately recognized. It is the loss of an opportunity for closeness, the loss of a chance to have one's supplications answered, and the loss of a moment that could have changed the course of one's life. Comfort in sleep may feel appealing, but it cannot compare to the tranquility and fulfillment that comes from standing in prayer during these blessed hours. Allah mentions in the Quran that during a portion of the night, one should stand in prayer beyond what is obligatory, as it may lead to being raised to a Maqam Mahmudi, a praised and honored station. This is not simply a reward in the hereafter, but also a reflection of a person's elevated status in the sight of Allah. It signifies closeness, acceptance, and honor that cannot be attained through ordinary means alone. These moments in the night are not random occurrences. They are meaningful opportunities placed within a person's life as a means of drawing closer to Allah. Each awakening carries the potential for forgiveness, for change, and for elevation. Responding to that call requires effort, but the reward far outweighs the struggle. In a world filled with noise and distraction, these quiet hours offer something rare, a direct and uninterrupted connection with the one who understands every thought, every feeling, and every need. Those who recognize the value of these moments and act upon them begin to experience a depth of faith that goes beyond routine. Their worship becomes more than an obligation. It becomes a source of comfort and strength. Their supplications become more than words. They become a lifeline. And their nights, once ordinary, become filled with purpose, meaning, and a sense of closeness that transforms not only their nights, but their entire lives. Imagine being raised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to a Maqam of praise, honor, and nearness that is beyond human imagination. There is no worldly success, no recognition, and no achievement that can compare to being elevated by the Creator Himself. This is not simply a hidoshi granted randomly. It is a hidufi, earned through sincerity, devotion, and a heart that consistently turns back to Allah in both ease and hardship. Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, showed the true meaning of this eturi through his actions. He would stand in the depths of the night in prayer for such long periods that his blessed feet would swell. When he was asked why he continued to exert himself in worship when his past and future sins were already forgiven, his response carried a lesson that reaches into the heart of every believer. Shall I not be a grateful servant? These words reshape the understanding of worship. They show that inbiza is not only driven by need, fear, or desperation, but also by love, gratitude, and recognition of Allah's countless blessings. The night prayer is not reserved for those who are struggling alone. It is equally for those who have been given ease and wish to show gratitude. It is a path for the one seeking relief and for the one expressing thanks. It balances the heart between hope and appreciation, between longing and contentment. A believer stands not only to ask, but also to thank, not only to seek forgiveness, but also to acknowledge the endless favors that Allah has already given. During the hours between 3 am and 50 am, a unique stillness settles over the world. The noise that dominates the day disappears completely. There are no distractions pulling attention away, no interruptions breaking concentration, and no pressures demanding immediate response. In that silence, the heart finds a rare clarity. Thoughts become more focused, emotions become more sincere, and the soul becomes more open to reflection and connection. It is in this environment that supplication rises with a depth that is difficult to achieve at any other time. The closeness to Allah during the last portion of the night is a closeness of mercy, attention, and acceptance. It is a nearness that reflects Allah's willingness to listen, to respond, and to give. While people spend their days seeking assistance from others, often feeling disappointment or limitation, the one who controls every outcome invites his servants directly. There are no barriers, no conditions of status or position, and no limitations on what can be asked. This invitation is continuous, generous, and filled with compassion. The teachings describe that in the last third of every night, Allah calls out, offering forgiveness to those who seek it and provision to those who ask. This call reflects a level of mercy that goes beyond human comprehension. It shows that Allah is not distant from His creation, but actively opening doors for them, giving them opportunities to return, to be forgiven, and to be elevated. Despite this, many people remain unaware or unresponsive, allowing these precious moments to pass while choosing temporary comfort over lasting benefit. Night prayer becomes a source of inner strength that cannot be matched by any worldly means. The early believers understood this deeply. Their resilience, patience, and success were not based solely on material resources, but on their connection with Allah, especially in the quiet hours of the night. This connection gave them clarity in decision-making, strength in adversity, and peace in uncertainty. It anchored their hearts in a way that made them unshaken by the changing conditions of the world. A person who turns to Allah during these hours begins to notice changes that are both subtle and profound. The heart becomes lighter as burdens are shared with the one who can remove them completely. Worries that once felt overwhelming begin to lose their weight. There is a growing sense of trust that develops, a confidence that whatever happens is within the wisdom of Allah. This trust transforms how a person views challenges, turning them from sources of stress into opportunities for growth and reliance. Supplication at this time carries a unique power. It is not dependent on eloquence or length, but on sincerity and presence. A few words spoken with a truthful heart can have a greater impact than long prayers made without focus. The tears that fall in these moments are not signs of weakness, but signs of awareness, humility, and connection. They reflect a heart that recognizes its need for Allah and turns to Him without hesitation. The response to these supplications comes in ways that reflect perfect wisdom. Sometimes a person receives exactly what they asked for in the way they hoped. At other times, the response is delayed because something better is being prepared. There are also moments when a difficulty is removed before it even reaches the person, a protection that goes unnoticed but carries immense benefit. These outcomes remind the believer that Allah's response is always aligned with what is best, even if it is not immediately understood. Establishing this practice does not require perfection or extensive ability. It begins with small, sincere steps. A person may feel unable to stand for long periods or may feel limited in their recitation, but these are not barriers. What matters is consistency and intention. Even 2 units of prayer offered with focus and humility can open doors that were previously closed. Consistency, even in small actions, holds greater value than occasional large efforts. When a person wakes during these hours, the approach does not need to be complicated. Rising, performing purification, standing briefly in prayer, and then making sincere supplication is enough to begin building this connection. The simplicity of the act makes it accessible to everyone, regardless of their level of knowledge or experience. Over time, what starts as a small effort grows into a deeply valued part of life. This practice is not only about fulfilling an act of worship. It is about building a relationship with Allah. It is about creating a consistent moment where the heart disconnects from the world and reconnects with its Creator. This relationship brings a sense of companionship, a feeling that one is never alone, regardless of circumstances. It provides comfort in times of difficulty and gratitude in times of ease. Gradual development of this habit ensures that it becomes sustainable. Starting with occasional nights, setting a sincere intention before sleeping, and asking Allah for the ability to wake up are all part of the process. Preparing for sleep with awareness and purpose creates a foundation that makes waking easier. Over time, the body adjusts, and the heart begins to look forward to these moments rather than struggle with them. As this connection strengthens, the impact extends beyond the night. It influences behavior during the day, improving patience, increasing mindfulness, and strengthening faith. The person becomes more conscious of their actions, more aware of their purpose, and more connected to their Creator in all aspects of life. What begins as a simple act of waking up in the night transforms into a journey of closeness, growth, and elevation. The nights that once passed unnoticed become filled with meaning. The heart that once felt distant becomes connected, and the life that once felt heavy begins to feel guided, supported, and filled with a sense of peace that can only come from being close to Allah. The Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, taught his followers to sleep in a state of purity, to perform ablution before lying down, to recite Ayat al-Kursi, and to remember Allah before closing their eyes. When a person sleeps in this state of remembrance and cleanliness, the soul becomes more receptive, and responding to the call of the night becomes easier and more natural. It is as if the heart has been prepared in advance to answer when the moment arrives. Keeping the practice simple is essential. Even waking up for a few minutes carries immense value. A short prayer performed with sincerity can open doors that long efforts without presence cannot. Standing for 2 units of prayer, reciting short chapters such as Surah Al-Ikhlas, Surah Al-Falaq, and Surah An-Nas, and focusing on the connection with Allah is more than enough to begin. The true value of prayer is not measured by its length, but by the depth of presence within it, by how the heart is, and how sincerely it turns toward its Creator. During these quiet hours, supplication becomes deeply personal. Speaking to Allah feels intimate, as if sharing thoughts that have never been expressed before. The heart opens without hesitation, revealing fears, hopes, mistakes, and regrets. A person turns to Allah with complete honesty, asking for forgiveness, guidance, blessings for their loved ones, and a place in paradise. This moment becomes a private conversation, one in which the servant feels heard, understood, and cared for in a way that no one else can provide. The teachings describe that when a significant portion of the night has passed, Allah calls out, offering acceptance to those who supplicate, granting to those who ask, and forgiving those who seek forgiveness. This reflects an immense level of mercy, showing that Allah is continuously inviting His servants to return, to be forgiven, and to receive His blessings. It is a moment filled with opportunity, a moment that carries the potential to transform a person's life completely. When this practice becomes consistent, a beautiful transformation begins to take place. The heart, once heavy with worries and stress, starts to feel lighter. Patience increases, allowing a person to handle difficulties with greater calm. Relationships improve as the inner state becomes more balanced and peaceful. Sustenance feels more blessed, not necessarily because of an increase in quantity, but because of the contentment and ease that comes with it. There is also a deeper awareness of one's actions, where mistakes feel more significant and repentance becomes more sincere and meaningful. Over time, a person begins to feel a constant awareness of Allah throughout their day. This awareness brings comfort and reassurance, creating a sense that one is never alone, regardless of the situation. It strengthens faith and builds a connection that influences every part of life, from decisions to interactions to personal growth. The early hours of the morning are not just a segment of time, they are a sacred opportunity filled with mercy and potential. When a person wakes during this period, raising their hands in supplication and speaking with sincerity becomes a powerful act of devotion. Asking for goodness in this life and the next, seeking forgiveness, asking for protection, and hoping for closeness to Allah are all part of this intimate connection. These words, when spoken with belief and humility, are never wasted. Every supplication is heard, and every moment of sincerity is valued. True success is not measured only by productivity or visible achievements. It begins with humility before Allah, especially in moments when no one else is watching. The quiet hours of the night become the foundation upon which the rest of the day is built. Starting the day with prayer and connection fills it with blessing, clarity, and purpose. A heart that seeks healing finds comfort in prostration, shedding tears in privacy while the world remains asleep. A soul searching for guidance finds direction by turning to Allah before the break of dawn. Waking up during these hours is not meant for distraction or wasted time. It is an invitation to return, to reconnect, and to strengthen the bond with the Creator. It is a chance to step away from the temporary and focus on what is lasting and meaningful. May Allah make those who respond to this call among the successful. May He accept the supplications, forgive shortcomings, grant strength through night prayer, and raise His servants to a status of honor and praise on the day of judgment. May He fill hearts with sincerity, grant consistency in worship, and allow the sweetness of these moments to be experienced fully. Ameen.